Paint pens are a wonderful tool for artists, but they're limited in what it is they do. They do some things really well and other things not so much. So let's take an example. Here, I have an origami color wheel project that was done. These larger spaces, it's better to paint them in because paint pens don't really fill in well and they're rather expensive. So when you get these ones, you're gonna pay almost $50 for a small pack of them. So you don't wanna waste the paint just trying to fill in a little space. Just use your brush and some paint and go ahead and do those larger shapes and spaces. But the Posca pens and the paint pens are really great for doing line work, and they're really good for these kind of details of pattern inside a pattern. They're a little unusual in how we get them ready. So with a normal pen, you just uncap it and use it. But for these kinds of pens, you need to give them a shake because it's almost as though it has spray paint inside of it. Sometimes you'll hear a little ball that's going back and forth and agitating and mixing the paint because the paint can separate if it's been sitting there a long time. Then we go ahead and open it up. And you'll see that the tip on this one is white. So it's not ready yet. So we have to prime it. Usually you're supposed to, when it's white, you lift it up and you press it down once. And if there's any gas that's built up in here, maybe it got overheated or something, it'll release that gas. And then we're ready to prime it. So to prime the pen, you have to press it up and down on the tip. And you keep doing this until you see some color coming through. You can see that it's starting to, and we'll continue. Now we're getting the color through this. Now we're ready to use the pen. And we can go ahead and make lines with the pen. But something you want to do is make sure you don't press again with the pen because all of that paint will just spread out from in there and then you kind of waste it. So we don't press with it as we draw with it. When you're done, you want to make sure that you cap your pen because these dry out rather quickly. So how do you make a straight line with a Posca pen? I've got straight lines all over here. Well, let me grab a project. And we've got this here. You can actually use a ruler with a Posca pen or a paint pen. So we would go ahead and put the ruler where you want the line to be. Line it up, and then go ahead and put the pen there and draw your line. Now you actually want to wait about 3 seconds. You can even blow on it a little bit and then pull the ruler away. If you make a line and then pull the ruler away immediately, this paint may still be wet and then it might make a smear across your painting and you won't want that. What about doing patterns? Well, we can use the Posca pen to do small patterns. You can do like a basket weave pattern. And we find that small detailed patterns work really well inside shapes to make them look more enhanced. And you can see I just go consistently with this. When you do large patterns inside of small areas, it ends up looking kind of chunky and unprofessional. But when you do small patterns inside, you'll find that they end up looking much better. So that worked out really well. The nice thing too is that you can do pattern on pattern. Once the Posca or the paint pen dries, you can take another color. Let's go ahead and prime this one again. So I'm gonna press on the tip. And there's the paint, it's coming out. And then I can go back and maybe I'm gonna put some dots in between the four corners of this basket weave pattern that I've created. So we can do pattern on top of pattern and it becomes a nice enhanced effect. So again, when you're done, make sure that you cap it. Leave it on its side or leave it with the point down. And that's a great way to kind of store these. If you're using the pens, We have a limited supply of these. They are rather expensive, so you'll want to make sure that you keep only 2 or 3 at your seat at a time, and if you need a new color, go ahead and trade it in for another. We don't want one person hogging up all the pens. I hope that has been helpful, and if you ever have any questions, just ask your teacher.